Eddie Munson is going to return in Stranger Things Season 5, and today I'm going to be talking about why he's going to return in Stranger Things Season 5 and how he could return. The first reason I want to talk about, though, is how much money he's made for Stranger Things in general. And not only that, how many eyeballs he's brought to the show and how many more people have watched because they've seen him on TikTok and social media as a whole. The first thing is Chrissy Wake Up. That trend got hundreds of millions, if not billions of views across the summer of 2022. Whether you hated it or you loved it, either way, that was, publicity. And any publicity is good or bad is awesome. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad, it benefits Stranger Things. And that's what the dubbers care about. That's what the producers care about. That's what the writers care about, because any eyeballs in Stranger Things, that means more money. More money means better product for season 5. So Eddie Munson's made a bunch of money for Stranger Things, just with his social media run in general. Not only the theories, but the Chrissy Wake Up and everything in between. So that's one of the reasons why they would bring him back, because he brought so many eyeballs to the show. So it would be like, if they brought him back, they would definitely notice a difference between if they didn't bring him back. That's how big Eddie Munson was in 2022. It would definitely bring up the numbers, whether people want him to come back or not. So that is the first reason why Eddie Munson would or should or could return in Season 5. The second reason why he would return in Stranger Things Season 5 is how Joseph Quinn, who plays Eddie Munson in Stranger Things, has answered some questions at panels, at conventions, and interviews. And obviously, being a huge star on a show like this where it has 50 million viewers, you're going to get questions about whether your character is going to return. And he's gotten that question pretty much in every single interview I've ever seen him in. And for the first year or so, I would say, from the 2022 summer after season 4 ended to about late 2023, he's answered the question the same way. The question that was, is Eddie Munson going to return in season 5? He's answered it in the same way every single time. And usually his answer was somewhere along the lines of, I don't know, you'll have to wait and see. He never said no. He never said yes. He usually just said he didn't know until 2024 of April, when I'm filming this video. Just this past weekend, I think it was on April 7th, he said in an interview, someone asked him the same question, is Eddie Munson going to return in season 5 of Stranger Things? He said, I know the answer, but I'm not going to tell you. And he smiled, and the crowd went crazy about saying, you're going to return. And he just smiled, and it was just this 34-second clip of him just teasing his return. Now, I don't know. I'm not a genius. I don't have any inside information. By the way, a lot of you guys somehow think I'm an actor for season 5. I have all this inside information. That's not the case. I promise you. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. But basically what I was saying is whenever, actors are asked that question, I'm not for sure, but if they don't say no and they don't say yes, then it probably means yes. Because if they're just saying, I know, but I'm not going to tell you, or I don't know, it's most probably a yes, they're going to return, because they can't say no or yes because it would be a spoiler. You know what I'm saying? It would be a spoiler that he's not going to be on the show, and it would be a spoiler that he is going to be on the show. So I think him saying, from going I don't know to I know, but I'm not going to tell you, is basically confirming that he's going to be in season 5 in some way, shape, or form. So just the way he's answered questions and alluded to his return, I think that's a big hint that he is going to be in season 5. The third reason I wanted to talk about why Eddie Munson could return in Stranger Things season 5 is how many people are still talking about him. Obviously, I'm going to be talking about him because I'm a nerd and I love Stranger Things, and it's literally my job to talk about it. So obviously I'm going to be talking about Eddie Munson returning to Stranger Things Season 5, but people in general on Twitter, on Reddit, on Instagram, on TikTok are still making edits about Eddie Munson. They're still talking about Eddie Munson. They're still all this stuff. And I know people do this for other dead characters and other TV shows, but he's still bringing eyes to the TV show. If this was a one-season wonder, it was the best one-season wonder to ever exist on any TV show ever, as far as the amount of viewers that he's brought to the show. But that's another reason why he would return, is because of how many people are still talking about him, still talking about the possibility of his return. My theories that I make about Eddie Munson still do the best out of any other theories. I haven't made one in a while because I don't know. I feel bad. Sometimes I think he's going to return. Sometimes I don't think he's going to return. But at this point, I think it's inevitable. The fourth reason kind of goes back to the second reason, but how he's even still considering answering these questions. He could easily just tell the people that are giving the mic to the fans, like, hey, if that question comes up, don't let him ask it. Like, I'm not answering that. I'm not in Stranger Things Season 5. I don't want to answer it. But every single time he answers the question and he alludes to his return and he hints at it and everybody goes crazy. So just the fact that he's still considering answering those questions gives me hope / confirmation that he's going to be in next season. Now, before I get into the how he could return in Stranger Things Season 5, you know, as far as the lore and the storyline and all that, make sure to drop a like. I want to go for around 50 likes on this video. That'd be amazing. And subscribe if you are new, because we're trying to hit 1,000 subs. And if you could share this video with your friend, that would be awesome, because I want this, you know, channel to be an awesome safe haven for TV show fans who are theorists and just lore junkies, not just with Stranger Things, but with other shows in general. So I'd really appreciate the share. And I have a Discord down below where we talk Stranger Things and other TV shows every day if you want to join that. Now, without further ado, let's get into the possibilities of how Eddie Munson can return in the final season of Stranger Things. The cast theory is the most unlikely. Now, if you don't know what the cast theory is, which I'm assuming most of you people do know what it is, basically, you know, D&D, Cass was in D&D, he was Vecna's right-hand man and then eventually turned on Vecna. But he was a person who died and eventually turned into a vampire, helped Vecna, and then turned on Vecna later on and killed him. So people think that maybe Vecna would bring Eddie back to life as a vampire, and then Eddie would be Vecna's right-hand man, and then at the end of the show, he would turn on Vecna and kill him. I don't think this is likely, but you know, it's still a possibility because this is a D&D show after all. But I don't think the Duffers are following the D&D parallel that closely. I don't think they're going to have that specific of a detail in there, but maybe they will. Either way, I do think it's a cool option. I just think that's probably the most unlikely way of him returning. The second way he could return was actually pretty interesting when I thought about it, but I have written down here he could potentially, like, the kids and the people like the people who are helping Elle, like Hopper, Joyce, you know, all the main group, they could potentially, like, after they beat the Upside Down, wipe Eddie's name free, like proving to the world that Eddie was a good guy and he was actually a hero, not a villain. And then after that was like successfully done, like after they clear his name, then he could show up as a hallucination, maybe in Dustin's life or whatever, and be like, thank you, I can finally rest or something. I think that would be really cool. Just a small little cameo with Joseph Quinn. And after they wipe his name clear, I think that would be really, really cool for him to return. The third way is obviously a flashback, which is probably the most likely, I would say. That or hallucination is most likely. But just a flashback with Dustin, maybe a scene just with more detail around the concert or something else, or just his backstory, his childhood. I don't know. Like, I think a flashback is probably the most likely way he returns, but I do have that written down because it seems like that could be a huge possibility. The last two ways are far-fetched, in my opinion, like really far-fetched. I have one written down that says that people actually believe this, but like he just didn't die in the Upside Down. He somehow lived, and he's going to like somehow barely be alive when like Dustin and them like discover him in the Upside Down. That's definitely not going to happen. But people do believe that that you know the delusional Eddie stands out there believe that, even though that would be cool, it's not going to happen. And the last one, of course, is once the connection to the Upside Down is resolved, everyone who died in the Upside Down, not everyone who died in the show, everyone who died in the Upside Down would come back to life. You know, that's more of like a, I don't know, that's a huge supernatural storyline right there. But that would include Eddie, Barb, and I don't know who else, to be honest with you. I'm pretty sure, like, off the top of my head, that's it, but there's definitely probably more. But everyone who died, like, literally in the Upside Down would come back to life after the connection to the Upside Down is resolved. At the moment, that's what I have written down for the possibility of his return in Stranger Things Season 5. But, of course, it could be something totally different. It could be just, you know, something that we haven't thought of. Or, like, you know, I'm not a D&D expert, so it could be something else in D&D that shows up. But either way, or he could be a part of like Vecna's army, not just Cass. He just could be part of Vecna's army, and then like, so that means like Vecna brought him back to life, and then whenever the connection to the Upside Down is resolved, then he comes back to reality. It could be something like that. But yeah, like I said, I'm not a D&D lore expert, so maybe there's another way he could return, and they could explain it well to the casual audience. But either way, guys, I do think Eddie Munson's going to return in season 5. That doesn't mean I think he's going to be alive, but I do think that he, like Joseph Quinn, the actor, will be in season 5, whether it's a flashback, a hallucination, or he actually comes back as Cass or part of Vecna's army or whatever. I do think he will return just because of how much Joseph Quinn has alluded to Eddie Munson's return in these conventions and panels and interviews. So I want to know your guys' thoughts on the whole thing and your best theory of how Eddie Munson could return in season 5. But either way, guys, I appreciate you guys watching this video. Make sure you have a great rest of your day. Like I said, subscribe, drop a like, share this video with a friend, and drop your theories and comments down below. I try to read every single one of them, even if I don't respond. So I appreciate all love and support, guys, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace out.